Hi y'all, this is So Blessed. Welcome to the Blessed Place. How y'all doing? Happy hump day. Nope, it's not hump day, it's Thursday. And I'm not starting this video over. Happy Thursday. So this is my Thursday thought. So I just got 3 things that I want you all to consider this week. I'm just going to make this a quick video because I'm sitting in the parking lot. I have a meeting to go to, and I have a few minutes to spare. And I know I said that the next video y'all see will be the answers to your question and answer, but it's coming, and y'all gave me some marvelous material to work with. Okay, 3 things to consider this week. Number 1, forgive yourself. Some of us have done some things in our past, probably most of us, made some mistakes that we think that we're still paying for right now. And possibly we could be still paying for some things right now. However, we still must forgive ourselves. I'm sure if we made a mistake or done something wrong in the past, those of us who especially, are spiritual or believe in God, you've already asked God for forgiveness, and God has already forgiven you. He's just thrown it into the sea of forgetfulness. But us, we can't forget the mistakes we made and the things we've done to get us to the point where we are now. But I say to you, forgive yourself. If God has forgiven you, who are you? Who am I? Who are we to keep holding on to what God has forgiven, what He doesn't even remember? So forgive yourself. We are human, we are flawed, we make mistakes. That's not a rationalization to continue making mistakes, but it is just the fact of life. We make mistakes, we are not infallible, and when we make those mistakes, we've got to just learn from those mistakes, forgive ourselves, ask for forgiveness, and move on. Number 2, another thing to consider this week is to think of changing your perspective. Your perspective, our perspective is everything. Something could be true, something could be false, but it's all about our perception about that thing. So, think of changing your perception. And I think I said perspective, same thing, but more so, think of changing your perception about a matter. For instance, if somebody does you wrong, try to think of changing your perception about that, wherein don't react in a negative way. Change your perception about it and see how you can change that thing, how you could turn that situation around. Perhaps see how you can maybe communicate and find out, why are you thinking like this? Why are you acting like this? Or what have I done to you? Or please forgive me if I have done something to you that I don't even know about. So I could, like I said, I only have a few minutes, but so that goes a lot deeper. But perception is everything, and a lot of times we misperceive things, or a lot of times our background or our hurt or our development over the years is what affects our perception. And sometimes our perception is just totally skewed. So sometimes take a step back and say, let me look at this thing from a different perspective. Let me look at this thing from my husband's perspective. Let me look at this thing from my boss's perspective. Let me look at this from my child's perspective. Let me look at this thing from, my neighbor's perspective or my coworker or whoever that you're dealing with. It's not all about your perspective, so think of, try to change your perspective and your perception about certain things, and not just a narrow perspective, not just a narrow perception of how you perceive it. That's just something to consider. And these are things that will just really enhance your life. And another, I would say lastly, is just try and give to others. Because giving to others is amazing. And when I say give, it doesn't always have to be monetary. It could be just simple acts of kindness. It could be words of encouragement. Words are just everything. I'm just going to tell you all this quick little story. I can remember when my dad died, and one of the older ladies from the church, who I dearly love, family friend of ours, dearly, dearly love this person. But I can remember, I come from a very strict religious church background, and you didn't wear polish, and women didn't wear makeup, and women didn't wear, speaking of makeup, I'll see my lips, but women didn't wear pants, polish, makeup or anything like that. So my dad died, and the families came over to our house like we do when people pass away, and she looked at my toes, and I had blue toenail polish on, and she says, "Deidre, blue toenail polish?" And I can remember, even though it was 5 years ago, I can kind of remember kind of being hurt in that moment. Like, my dad has just died, and you're looking at my toenail polish. But the reason I mentioned that is because we came back just the other day. I went to get a pedicure, and I was looking to pick out my polish, and I was trying to see which color I wanted, and I saw the blue nail polish, and that memory of 5 years ago, I had not thought about that. I hadn't held on to that. I wasn't bitter or anything, but instantly that thought came back to me of the blue nail polish incident from when my dad died, and I just kind of like smiled and shook it off. But I was thinking, in that moment, I was thinking, wow, words are powerful, memories are powerful. So that's why I say to you, words are powerful. So you can encourage someone, or you could tear someone down with your words. And your words, you might not think that they might even have an effect right then, but a year later, a month, year, a few years later, 5 years later, those words can mean a lot, or they can cause negative, reaction. So I can remember once my sister Denise told me that she thought that I was resilient, and I had never thought of myself as resilient. And I have held on to that word, and that was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I have held on to that word when I'm going through, and I remind myself that, Deidre, you are resilient. And now I feel like Superwoman because I am so resilient. But I didn't realize that until Denise told me. So just encourage someone with your words, and with your kindness, and with your random acts of kindness. Okay, you guys, I've spoken longer than I'm supposed to. Let me get in here to my meeting. Y'all be blessed.